I'll do a quick review of Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Shazam 2. I don't know much about the director's previous films, David F. Sandberg, but he did Shazam 1. I think we're living in the era where you think that that post-Endgame MCU era where all of the films that are related to comic books are coming out and they're terrible, but they're just getting worse. We're seeing films that are so much worse than anything that was considered a dire MCU film, which I think is going to cause an end to it eventually because they're just making less and less money and people are getting really turned off. So I hope it happens. I'm sick of it. It has to happen at some point. So Shazam 1 I thought was appealing for a while, and the conceit is this teenage boy that lives in a foster home gets granted amazing powers from the gods and turns into this adult. And he manages to turn all of his friends from the foster home into super beings as well. So they sort of say Shazam and they appear like Superman and they've got the incredible powers. And this all relates to the character of Black Adam as well. So the same people that gave Black Adam his powers also gave the Shazam character his powers as well. Who's playing who? I don't really care. It doesn't matter. Zachary Levi and Asher Angel as Billy, Baston, and Shazam. So you get the teenage boy, and then you get the adult version of it, and the same with all of the other characters. The first film, it was appealing enough at times, but after a while, that whole conceit of the teenager in a man's body thing just really got boring. And I thought the Mark Strong villain in it and everything was really just ended up going nowhere. So I didn't rate it at all. I have to say Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods, is unbelievably terrible. This has one of the least ambitious plots for any modern superhero film. So we didn't get the Dwayne Johnson Black Adam character featuring in this film because it was such a colossal fail. Black Adam is significantly better than this film. We get three ladies that are Helen Mirren, Lucy Liu, and whoever the young girl is, who's so bad. She's so bad. They're Greek goddesses that have come to reclaim the staff of power or something like that. So that's the whole film. They're set up to clash with the Shazam characters. They want to recreate their Greek god kingdom, but the one played by Lucy Liu decides that she actually wants to destroy Earth with it instead, and that's pretty much it. And they form this bubble over the city and fight. There's so little of intrigue in that story. It's so damp, but it's so unambitious on a visual sense. It probably cost a fortune, 125 million. You watch something like a Christopher Nolan film, like The Dark Knight Rises, something like that, where they've taken over a whole city, and you compare it to the takeover of a city here. It feels like they basically commandeered a few blocks and paid the same 5 ad hoc characters to walk around. It feels like no one lives there. It feels completely empty, which is bizarre. It's like they save all the money in this plot for some certain visual sequences. The characterizations are really dull, and it reaches repetitious status virtually immediately. It felt like watching Warrior Xena Princess. It felt like watching an average Warrior Xena Princess movie. When they're not doing special effects and when it's just shot like normal stuff, it looks like TV standard. I didn't really rate anyone's acting here, but the one person that stood out is, if I can find her, Grace Caroline Curry, who I think is a star of the future, looks fantastic, and I gave her a great review for the film last year, Fall, which they're making a sequel to, where she and the other girl, both of them were great in it. Stuck up a 2,000-foot high pole. Great film for people who are scared of heights, that one. But I gave it a great review. It was in my films of the year, and she was fantastic. And she stands out as a star here. Helen Mirren is fine. Lucy Liu is the one truly standout performance here. She gets a great character and she does a lot with it. Even if riding around on a wooden dragon is pretty lame at this point in time, to be honest. But it's so anemic. It's like there's so little happens. It's got this vaguely cocaine air about it. And, you know, you get the high school love interest scenario with the caveat that the guy who's he walks with a cane and then flips into being one of the Shazam superheroes. He falls for this girl at high school, this pretty cute girl who ends up being one of the Greek gods. Well, she doesn't change her performance when she's going from someone that would be probably quite good in Glee as a cute high school girl. She's the same character when she's a Greek god that's 4,000 years old. Her acting is so bad. Not that anyone really stands out. It's got the same goofy air of Shazam, but even less reason to be. It's a monumental fail for me. It was so low stakes. It felt like nothing at all mattered. There's nothing that's particularly funny about it, and nothing visually that arresting about it. It often felt a lot cheaper than its budget. The story was so lame. It was so weak. After what we've been through with comic book movies, to get something so like it happened at the start, almost like before the whole MCU thing took over, it was so rote. So I thought it was utterly terrible, very boring at times, and absolutely nothing to offer at all. So Shazam, I think the movies are actually getting worse. This is actually so much worse than Black Adam. On every level, visually as well, ambition level as well. So Shazam Fury of the Gods, which crashed and bombed at the cinema, I'm going to give a 2 out of 10. I've reviewed so many bad films this year. So many 1s and 2s out of 10s. It's like way more than last year already. And I have to say, you know, if this is helping accelerate the end of the comic book redo movies, I'm all for it. 2 out of 10 for Shazam Fury of the Gods.